Alright. Alright, Taylor, thanks for meeting with me today. And I just wanted to get started and just delve right in. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what's going on?
So in 3rd grade, we try to co-plan together. So each person is given a subject, and they're responsible for making the materials for that subject for everyone. And we kind of set parameters of okay, by Friday, if you give us a single copy, then it's very kind of ridiculous. But if you make a single copy by Friday, then that person, the other team members, are responsible for making their class copies. But no one usually meets that deadline.
Okay.
And then we have one specific team member who doesn't really bring anything to the table, and claims that he doesn't really know how to do things. But, I mean, I'm only a year and a half into teaching. I don't really know how to do things, and sometimes you just kind of have to do research and figure it out yourself. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. I feel like I put
the town caller, please put over the town caller, please put over the town caller.
I put in a lot of effort to my planning, and there's no effort on his end either. So.
Okay. So what I hear you saying is that you have set down norms for what you want each
Right.
team member to meet, and that those norms are not being met.
Correct.
And that some people are carrying more load than others.
Yes.
So what is your ultimate goal?
I mean, basically, for me, logically, it just makes more sense that, if we work together and divvy up the work, especially since, we do have a lot that we have to cover before the end of the year, it's not just oh, teach social studies through ELA, because we have to cover Louisiana, and sometimes it's not always easy to do. So it makes more sense and more beneficial to kids that, everyone do the, quality work that they can instead of quantity. If I was planning all 4 subjects by myself, I don't think the quality would be as good.
Okay.
But it's frustrating that I give these great, I think pretty good lessons, and I'm not getting that in return.
Okay. So we have about 20 minutes here, and obviously this is it's a big overarching problem. Is there one facet of the problem that you think we can come up with options for today, that you want to tackle today?
I'm trying to think.
We can, if it helps you, we can break apart some of the parts of this problem.
So I think it's something that we've been working on for a long time. It's just we don't really know how to I can't teach this person how to do things every single time, you know?
Right.
So maybe, I don't know, what do you think would be the thing to pinpoint first?
What I'm hearing are the different parts of it are there's planning the subject,
Right.
and then there's getting the materials to each
Right.
person on time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so which of do you agree that those are?
Yeah, I think the
Is
major
there
issue with this specific coworker is the execution of the planning.
The planning.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's something that we can delve into today and see what kind of options we can come up with.
Okay.
So I'm going to write that down so that we know where to focus, is on subject planning. And just to get a really clear picture, in your ideal world,
Right.
what would subject planning for each teacher look like?
And I because we don't really do full lesson plans at our school, so and I don't think it's necessary, but for some teachers I think it could be. Ideally, it would have an outline per day, what the materials are for the students that are needed, what's the Common Core Aligned Standard or GLE, and if not an exit ticket per day, at least an exit ticket every other day, or some type of assessment for the students. And again, I don't need you do at this point, this point, you know?
Not
But just
necessarily.
a gist of this is the topic that you're going to be covering today. Today, Mr. Romero does really good stuff with his lesson plans. He'll just say, today you're talking about the moon. You're reading this page and this page. Here's the exit ticket. That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Okay.
But this other coworker can't really grasp that.
Okay. Great. So I'm going to just read this off before we talk about some options.
Okay.
So you'd like for the subject planning to include an outline per day the materials needed, a list of materials needed,
Right.
The corresponding GLEs or Common Core standards, and then an exit ticket or other form of assessment
Yeah.
for each activity.
Yeah.
That's
Or at
it.
least like every other day.
I think those are totally reasonable, and I think that we can definitely come up with a way to make that
Right.
happen. So, what do you see as your options? So what are some possible options to make this happen?
Well, so the thing that we've been struggling with is like, how do we like as coworkers like help this person? Because that's what it is. Like we want to help them, but at some point it's like you have to do the work yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked to our principal about having some more help from our curriculum director. That
Okay.
as much as he can.
Right. So help from our DCE, who has been pulled to teach 4th grade. So
Yeah.
there's
That
a block
right.
there. So we see, I think it's important to delve all the outcomes or all the options, even if they're not all
Right.
the right answer, just to kind of look at it
Yeah.
and see where the pitfalls might be.
Right.
So I think that's good. Hey, can I
start myself?
Yeah, that's fine. So help from the DCE. Are there any other options that you see?
Maybe suggesting some like workshops that this person can attend. Sorry guys.
So just let's try and come up with 2 more that might be executable within the next week. So that you might not get 100% of this here, but might at least get you going. At least
Maybe like making a template on Google Drive for
Okay.
that person to start filling in as they start planning for the week.
So make a subject or a lesson plan template.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that something that you think that the team could use to create universality around
I think
all
people would try at first.
Okay.
A lot of 2 people on my tean don't really stick to that
Okay.
kind of stuff. Like they're not as detail oriented as I am, or like organizational
Yeah.
as I am. So, we could definitely give it a try. But I think it would definitely like help that person to kind of align to what they needed. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I think that is great. And is there can we think of just one more to have in the wings?
I don't know.
Maybe quickly implemented. Well, I'm just thinking, just going back to what you need, which is the outline per day, materials needed, corresponding standards, and then the exit ticket.
Right.
Can I give my opinion?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think that making a lesson plan template would help to get all of those categories, because it sounds like what you need is very, I don't want to say small, because it's not lesson planning.
Right.
It takes a skill to do the full week, but
Right.
I think what you're asking for, sometimes it's helpful just to get a checklist.
Right.
For people who are not detail
Yeah.
oriented, who don't automatically think, okay, I'm doing a lesson, I need all 4 of these things.
Yeah.
It might be like, okay, I'm doing a lesson plan, I have this template, I have to fill in all these boxes for
Right.
each day. That might help to organize those thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there is a way to also bring in a little more of that person's strengths and personality.
Right.
So, are there strengths that this teacher has that you can utilize for the lesson plan?
Well, that's something that I really don't like. Apparently he has his master's in English or something. Like,
Okay.
so I thought you would be like very into this, But I think maybe it's the like educational side of it because he's not traditionally trained that he kind of struggles with.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's something that we need to look at like the type of subject that he's planning, like whether he starts looking into more like arts integrated stuff because he was a teaching artist before. But maybe like readdressing that, like what he's actually doing, because right now we have him planning like our literacy stations. We only have him doing like 3 of them, really 2, because we're kind of basically giving him the other one. But it is leveled, so there are 3 different levels, so it's essentially like 6 a
Okay.
week.
Okay.
But we haven't gotten those in a long time. So.
Okay. So, I think that we have 4 really great options.
Okay.
And so now we're gonna try and figure out your approach. Starting tomorrow, you know, what can we do? Like, what of these options can we do tomorrow? What's our
Okay.
you know, what are some deadlines for that? And what are some more long-term plans? Because I think we have both short and long-term
Okay.
things here. So again, your options were to get help from the DCE,
Right.
to suggest some workshops that could help,
Mm-hmm.
to make a lesson plan template that people can use as a guide in their lesson planning,
Yeah.
and then to talk about maybe changing subject areas.
Okay.
So what do you see as your way forward?
I feel like it might be like better to start off small and do the short-term plans.
Mhm.
So maybe making a lesson plan template, checklist, or you know, guideline of sorts.
Mm-hmm. Great. And do you want to give yourself a goal of when you'd like to have that done?
Maybe a week from now, by Wednesday.
Okay. On Wednesday.
Tail end of the week. It's a little bit crazy, to be honest, with
Yes.
ANET.
Oh,
change
yes.
plans, too.
Absolutely. And that would be Wednesday, March 4th.
Yeah.
Wednesday, March 4th. So start small. We're going to start with the lesson plan checklist. Is
Okay.
there any of the other options that you want to explore for an immediate response? Or
I mean, maybe in the next week or two, like as we start to plan like post-park testing, changing the subject area that he plans, and then maybe around that time, like also like slowly over the next 2 weeks, making a list of potential workshops that he can go to.
Okay, so you want to talk about, with the team, talk about changing the subject areas by post-park, which is
March 21st.
March 21st-ish. And then compile a list of workshops
Right.
by that time as well. And is this, do you feel like those workshops would be beneficial to the team, that you could do them together, or would you pick
I
one of
think
the more
that
detailed one?
this coworker in particular needs very like low level
Okay.
help, because again he wasn't traditionally trained, and I mean neither was I, but Teach for America gives us a bunch of workshops that we have to attend to, and you know that's the only reason why I know things about like something like phonemic awareness. Like I don't even think Phil knows what that word is, so
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's necessarily like applicable to
Okay.
the other team members.
So you're gonna focus on literacy based
That
teaching literacy,
yeah.
early literacy,
Yeah.
teaching literacy.
And I think overall just like lesson execution, like how to take a lesson plan and then execute it. And that creation part as well, because I think if he's seen in a lesson plan, it's like, okay, I can maybe figure this out, but
Okay.
becoming the more independent aspect of
Yeah. Well, as my pen is done, which is great because this is a great time to wrap up.
it. Okay.
Do you have any like last comments you want to think about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, great. I think we got a lot accomplished
Yeah,
today, and I hope that you
I did. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me like,
good.
you know, write it down.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah.